and we see this horse carriage. We go around, the grass is so tall, so we try and go through it. Rusty open it up, the back falls down, and we're like, holy shit, there's some cool stuff in here. We start digging around. What's up, guys? Another episode of The Flip Side. Very excited. Nice fresh haircut, Krishn. Haven't seen it this fresh in a long time. What's up?
Thank you. Yeah, feels good. Episode 34, is it? 34? Welcome back. Thank you. Yeah, so if anyone listened to episode 33 last week, we talked about your haircuts, right? So you know what I did? I was like, that's it. Like, I want to try and get like a hair, like, you know how everyone needs a hairdresser, everyone needs a barber. I haven't had one because the place I go, like, I've always been like changing barbers here and there, been like trying some, you know, the ball stuff, and not bald, but like the buzz. And then, you know, I tried different guys. And then the place that I was going to at the moment, it was like one of those places where it's like owned by one person, but there's like 5 or 6 barbers there. And then like you go and whichever one's free, you just go and get it from them, right? So a friend hit me up and just said, you know, just try this place. This one guy, he owns a place and he's really good. And yeah, I went there. I told him what he wanted. You know, felt my hair. It was like a salon, right? He felt my hair. He like got a feel of it. I told him what I wanted. He goes, okay, yeah. He suggested this. I'm like, because I think you should get this. I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine, let's do it. And then, yeah, I got to shave the beard though. The beard's looking a little bit atrocious, but yeah, look at me go after that episode. Yes, last week.
Dude, I really like it. This really fits your head shape. Like, this is like your perfect hairstyle. It's like, yeah, when was your last haircut? Did you just grow out your hair for like the longest time? Or, I think I do remember you getting haircuts at times, but it was like the same style. But this one is like, whoa, I could tell it's like you got a haircut.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. That's exactly the type of, that's the thing I wanted. Like, I wanted to like, okay, yeah, you got a haircut, you know what I mean? Because it's always the same thing, but it's kind of similar, but I think you put more care and effort into it. And also I went to work, so like, you know, there you go. Look at that. I finally got my own barber. Like, now I was, you know, talking to him. You know, he's been in that place for like since 19 God knows what. It was in Maryland, so like he was telling me about how Maryland's just changed so much to what it is today. And you know, I now have a personal rapport with my barber, all thanks to a conversation that I had with Mr. Andy Mai. You know, there you go. Look at that. Out of nowhere, I have my own barber.
Dude, so the barber that I would go to, the one near the station, the one that you can't book in a time, it's just you rock up and if there's a lot of people you just wait for 2 hours. So sometimes I'll get lucky and I won't have to wait, or sometimes I would wait and it'll give me a haircut, and it costs $15, and probably roughly 50% of the time I'll tip him an extra 5. I'll give him 20 and I'll be like, before he's working out to give me change, I'll be like, don't worry, keep the change. And doing that for a year, that investment did not pay off because, you know, I did not get any priority. There was no extra caring for me. Like, that was not worth it.
You're just another bloke that was just, they probably like got your extra $5, but like, why is this guy giving us an extra $5? Like, what do we do to deserve you from me?
Now, every time I would give it to him, he would be impressed. He'd be like, oh, thank you so much. So I think what I learned is I've done stuff like that in the past, and for certain people, when you do it, they're going to go out of their way to sort of look after you, and certain people, they're not going to give a So I'm not going to stop doing that sort of, you know, tipping, but I'm definitely going to be more careful, and I'm going to feel out the person before I start just tipping any random person for a long period of time and see no returns.
100%. Like, you know, build a little bit of a connection there, see, you know, if you can develop a friendship or relationship, and then, you know, and then maybe go for the tip. Like, even now I'm contemplating this guy. Like, I was so happy with the way he cut it, and I'm like, because I'm gonna go back like for an indefinite period of time, right? Maybe tip him in the next couple of weeks, I don't know. But in saying that, yeah, like, I'm finally happy, you know. It's been a long week though. Anything new? Oh yeah, how was your weekend? I know you went up to the farm, you chilled out, you gave very, very last minute notice. I would have been keen, but you know, very last minute, classic. But how was your weekend? What did you get up to?
So I had a family dinner Saturday night. I had meetings Monday afternoon. So I had this tight window where it's like leave early Sunday and then leave early Monday. Really tight window, and I ended up getting home late and I had to push a bunch of things forward on Monday. But I had this tight window and I was contemplating just cancelling it because it was like too tight to like do anything. But I was like, let's just do this. Like usually when I flake, usually nothing happens, and when I pull through, usually something interesting happens. Just like the last sort of Easter long weekend when I was about to flake. So went with another friend, Reese, and we drove to my dad's place. He had this farm, and we pull up, and there's like this gate. Colin comes to the front, he unlocks the gate, and he says, "Hey, there's like a squatter living in the granny flat." So there's a house, there's a granny flat, a squatter, this old lady that's just living there, and she wouldn't leave. And we're like, "Why didn't you kick her out?" He said he called the police. They came to kick her out. They gave her a warning, gave her 7 days to move out. She didn't move out after 7 days. Called the cops again. They came the second time. She said that she actually signed a lease agreement, whereas my dad says no, she didn't sign shit. There was no lease agreement. And since there's now conflicting information, they have to bring her to court. So now she can stay there till the court hearing the date, which is like a few more weeks. So she's just living rent-free, using water, using electricity. Freaking, she's putting a bunch of junk in my dad's farm, and my dad isn't doing anything about it. And my dad's there with another guy named Anthony, this older mentor. These are like two old divorced Vietnamese men, and they're both like very like weirdly similar. I guess like me and Reese were talking about how like Vietnamese divorced men sort of tend to find each other, and they tend to like befriend each other. But like, one, I was like a bit pissed at my dad for being like really beta and like letting some old lady sort of take advantage of him like that, and him being really cool about it. But two, when we rocked up, one, my dad baits me all the time. I was there supposed to go in there to visit and have a holiday, but the moment we arrived, there's like 3 tasks we have to do. We have to carry this freaking old oven, put it on the floor. We need to carry these 3 freaking heavy bins to the other side of the farm. We need to carry this massive trailer, so now pull it out. And I'm like, okay, whatever, we'll do it since, you know, you're giving us accommodation, I guess. But then the lady comes to pull the trailer, her trailer, away from us. I think she was doing them a favor. There was a trailer filled with rubbish because my dad was renovating the house, a bunch of chip rock, and instead of us somehow using our car, carrying it and pulling the trailer to the dump yard, she was more than happy to help doing so, and of course she should have, because like she was staying there rent free. Anthony freaking goes up to her and say, thank you so much, here's $50, here's $50 to pay for petrol, She's like, no, it's okay. So here's $50. And I'm like, why are you giving her $50? Like, why are you treating her so nice? It's like, you're like my sister. Tonight we go out and we have dinner. We have dinner with the boys. And then Reese, he's like, is he like trying to get or something? Because it like looks like he's paying her or something. And I go back, I'm like, Dad, why are you treating her so nice? And my dad says, if we treat her nice, she'll leave faster. And she'll be more keen to leave. But like, that sort of ish works if you treat someone nice, or end the problem fast. But at the same time, what if she just takes advantage of you and just stays for the next 6 months?
That's the thing. She's been saying that for so long. If you keep, extending your arm and showing gratitude, nothing is going to change. That's such a weird predicament to be in, because, you see like things on like maybe TV or the news about squatters, and like it is extremely difficult to think about, okay, fine, in that situation, it's like, you don't know what it's like, to try and kick him out, and then like, it's easy for us to say on the side, like, oh, what are you doing? But at the same time, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like they're not supposed to be there. Is there not an option to cut her water or electricity or whatever?
Yeah, I think like, one, why couldn't they just change the fence lock? Two, like, even though I was there, like, I had to admit it would be pretty hard to me go and use aggression, because she has 3 dogs with her. She's an old lady, like her car's there, like I can't really force her away. I guess I could cut off the granny flat electricity, but what if she just goes to the electric box and just turns it back on and she starts with the main house's electricity? So it is a weird dilemma where you can't just like tell the person to f off. But I think if you set the intention from the very get-go and be like, yo, f off, and not have been nice for, 6 weeks straight, now it's weird. Now it's a bit awkward to kick out. But yeah.
That's the thing, because in this situation with how it would have started, it's like they would have like found her there one day. Like what was it? I wonder what the situation was like when they found her the first day. Instead of, they should have just told her to get out then. Like if they showed her kindness from day one, she's more inclined to then, just try her chances and stick around. Like I'm so confused. This has baffled me.
And like it just gave me throwbacks. Like it's like, and I admit, like that's probably where I got my beta-ness. I was like a beta in like primary school and high school. Like I was like the kid that got bullied. I was never making plans. I was always listening to others. It was weird because like my dad would just like listen to whatever Anthony would say. Anthony was like his mentor, this older divorced Vietnamese man. But yeah, it was like I was a bit angry, but at the same time I was not really, because like I've sort of distanced myself where I'm like emotionally like whatever, like dude, it's a beautiful farm and it's trash. There's rubbish everywhere. There's like freaking broken washing machines. There was like burnt up like cars. There's like a bunch of like old clothing, just rubbish, trash everywhere. And 3 years ago, 2017, when he bought it, it was like a working farm with horses, horse tracks. And now it's just like destroyed, and I'm just like a bit disappointed, but at the same time I'm not really. And at the same time I know, like in my mind I'm like, Dad, in 2, 3, 4 years, when I have more money, when it gets even more rundown and you get into a predicament where you really need money, I'll come in and save the day and buy it at like half the market price. And to you, one, you get money, and two, you're selling it to your son, so it's not, you're basically giving it to your son for some money, and I get a good deal, so I'm not too worried in the end. But when I was younger, I would definitely be just pissed at my dad and be like, Dad, why are you like, I don't want, like, why are you such a, I guess, not, I'm not going to mean it, like loser, like why are you such a loser? But obviously I love my dad. I would not be where I am without him. He gave me the right genes. Like he's probably taught me how to avoid getting scammed, how to avoid being a beta, how to avoid being taken advantage of, because I'm able to learn and watch him. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah.
So my question to you is, in that situation, you see a squatter downstairs, because it's an interesting one. You see a squatter downstairs that's living in the granny flat behind you, for example, per se. In the place that you're at right now, say you're in your parents' house, in the front house, and where you're at right now, in the very seat behind you, there's just an old lady. She can walk, she can clean, she's old, but she's not that old, you know what I mean? So what would you do? You see her there, what do you do? Like for me, I'm thinking about it and I'm just like it's hard, because it's like your word against theirs, their word against yours, and it's like back and forth, and they can just scream at you saying there's loan agreements, you can prove there's none, they can forge something. Like what do you do? What would you do? Like,
so I'd like at first I would go to the back and I'll see this weird shadow and be like, who's that? I'd knock, this lady will open the door and be like, yo, what are you doing in my house? I'd be like a bit like standoff, I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? She'd be like, hey, I'm poor, I need a place to stay. And I'd be like, sorry, like I'm renting this out tomorrow, I need it, can you please get out? Oh, give me like a few hours to like clear my stuff. Now hopefully she then leaves. Now if she doesn't, I'm gonna somehow find a time where she somehow left, throw all her shit out, change the locks, and leave her shit in the front house.
See, that's exactly what I think. Like, okay, first of all, if I find someone there immediately, I'll call the police straight away and be like, there's someone in my property. And then that way, if you do it from the start, they're startled as well, because they don't expect the police to come up. They expect a confrontation with either the owner or someone, right? And then on top of that, like I'd be a little bit aggressive, 100%. I'd do some pretty wild shit. Like I'd throw her shit out, 100%. Not her, him, whoever it is. I'd throw their shit out. I'd break their stuff. I'd probably like slash their tires when it's out, if their car is outside or something, like something. But then they won't get away. They're just staying there. It's a weird situation. I'm just thinking out of pure like frustration now. But I think it's hard for you to say that you got your beta-ness from early days because of that, when you're still young, you have all these tendencies, to be a bit loose, and not loose, but you know what I mean, like a bit fuzzy-headed per se. And then like I was the same, and like you grow out of it, you know what I mean. It's hard to say that when you're young, but it's reflecting when you're older and you look back on it. But yeah, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. I'm just frustrated thinking about it. Like, that's your property. It's your house. Like, it infuriates me.
Yeah, I was infuriated for sure. Now the story hasn't finished. So, one, we see this cool wooden chest. We're like messing around with all the stuff in the garage. And we see this cool wooden chest. We're like, all right, we're taking this home. This looks cool. I'm going to keep it. Whoever owns her, the lady. And then when we come back, we see her like putting everything back together, because we caused a mess and she's putting it back together. We're like, okay, that's a bit awkward. But then we start walking around, we see all the rubbish, we check out the area, we drive all the way down towards a horse track, and we get to this mini sort of covered area. It's one of the awnings, one of the mini rest areas at the very back of the farm, furthest away from the main house. And beside that, inside there's a bunch of rubbish. Behind it, there's a bunch of rubbish. There's a bunch of washing machines, broken washing machines just lying around, a bunch of rubbish lying around. We see this sort of trailer, nothing inside. And we see this horse carriage. So it's like a horse carriage. It's covered, things that horse would travel in when you're driving. And Reese was like he was like trying to open it to see what's inside. We go around, the grass is so tall, so we're trying to go through it. Rusty open it up, the back falls down, and we're like, holy shit, there's some cool stuff in here. We start digging around, we see this weird tripod, and then Reese is like, holy shit, that's like a tripod for surveying. You know how on street corners you'll see these tripods for surveying? We saw this Makita speaker, and was like, whoa, that's cool. Okay. We see some old rusty barbecue cookers. We see some cool hammers, some cool gear. We see some soldering items. We see this massive weird saw thing, like a saw cutting machine that was like Makita. We then saw this box of soldering equipment. We saw this weird mask. It was like a black mask for soldering fire, and there's a green thing. That was pretty cool. And then we saw this orange box, and we opened the orange box, and it was the surveying camera, the mini red camera that would go on top of the tripod. Brand new set, everything inside this box. We're like, whoa, that's cool. We saw this gas tank, and we searched up the gas tank. That's worth $400. We see this. What else did we get? I think those were the main items, and altogether, the surveying equipment, that's $1,000. We saw the Makita saw machine, that was $300. We saw all those a sledgehammer, that's $80. So we saw all this amazing items. We're like, holy shit, this is Reese for some reason has been watching Yard Explorers or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say either that or what's that, Storage Hunters or something?
Yes.
Yes. And everything. Yeah.
Yes. So we're just getting all this stuff. We're like, wow, this is cool. Reese is over the moon because each stuff is worth $100, a few hundred. We're like, whoa, this is super dope. And then we see engravings on them. It says a nearby town high school. And we see paper. The paper's white, construction paper. It's fresh white, and it's brand new. We're like, okay, cool. And we just leave everything there. We don't think much about it. We go back and we collect it and we put it all in our car. And then we check out another horse stable. In the horse stable, there's these old blowing machines, guitar amplifiers, these massive car awnings for camping. You would put it on your car and you create an awning, these wakeboarding sort of lines. And then there's this bag. We unzip it. We see 3 Xbox originals, the OG Xbox original, in this bag.
Shut up. Tables and everything?
No, just that I have to check. I'll check again, but I think it's just the console.
3 of them.
Yeah, insane.
You could be sitting on a landmine with that, because that's good. You keep that forever, bro. That's gonna go up and up in price. Or you could just buy a few cables and stuff online for it. But yeah, continue.
So we're seeing all these items, like, holy shit, what have we, come across? And we keep it low key. We don't tell Dad or Anthony yet. And then the next morning, I give my dad a heads up, because he's like, I was like, hey, by the way, we found some cool stuff. We're just gonna bring it back home. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, if anyone asks, say you don't know anything. I was like, yeah, that's fine. You should go grab it fast, because yesterday some people came to collect some things. I was like, oh wow, maybe they knew we were taking stuff and they wanted to get the stuff back quickly. Bought all the stuff back, drove back to Sydney. I was rushing, had a bunch of meetings, and Reese was going through the items. He was going to clean it up and take photos of it. And he calls me and is like, hey, this engraving was on the bottom of that surveying camera, and it was deeply engraved in it. It's not something that we could just like etch out, because it was like really deep metal engravings, and it was like a high school. And we're like putting the pieces together. We're like one, it was weird how the Makita speaker had some battery left in it, so that means it must have been left there recently. The fact that it had all these high school things, the fact that the paper we saw was brand new white, it was like not dirty at all. And the fact that it was hidden in this weird carriage, someone's stolen all this equipment and has been storing it in my dad's freaking farmland.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's bad for your dad, isn't it? Because if it's like stashed in his land, it just goes directly back to him. But I guess he can just feign ignorance at the end of the day. But at the same time, like, what the hell?
So we went from like over the moon, like, we're going to sell, we're going to make a bunch of money, we're going to come next week, we're going to get more items into the G-Wagon, we're going to like buy a ute, and we're going to get all the washing machines. Each washing machine, we could bring it to the cash yard and sell it for metal. Each washing machine is like $60 in cash. We're going to like make a killing. To like, oh shit, like this is like stolen goods. Well, what are we going to do?
At the same time, if it's like, if enough time has passed, I feel like it's then forgotten goods and it could be fine. So do you still have it, or is it? So
we have all the, I have some of it, my mates has some of it, and we're actually planning to create like a cool story, because I filmed the whole process, and maybe we'll go back to the school and we'll return it back to the school maybe, and do like a cool story, like film that process and return it back to the school for good karma. That was one option. 2, maybe spend the next weekend on the farm and trying to collect as much items as we can, and return this stuff and sell the other stuff. But yeah, so this is an unfinished story so far. Yeah.
And like you can find other stuff in the process that you maybe like, look out and try to find and sell and etc. That's not probably stolen goods. Like there's still a chance that it's not stolen goods, that it could just be, but it's just too good to be true to not be stolen goods. You know what I mean? Like it's.
And the scary thing is that everything there was like new, not dusty. And just having the thought that some robbers somehow stole it from this school, drive all the way into my dad's farm. So I found this sort of old horse carriage, opened it up, stashed it up, closed it, went back to the car, drove away. Like that whole thing happened recently. Was like we were tripping out at night. We were like what happens if like they come back? Like what if they go like get out my dad or something? Or what if they like, what's going to happen? So I'm going to have to give my dad a heads up about that as well, so he knows. But yeah, that was like a weird weekend for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a weekend you weren't expecting at all. Does the school's name clearly written on it?
Yeah. It was on multiple items. It was like on the Makita speaker. It was on the surveying equipment. It was on like the gas tank. It was on the mosquito soaring machine.
It's definitely too good to be true. It's definitely, but it's like, that's such a weird, unpleasant coincidence in that situation. Like you see all that and I don't know. I don't know how it'd feel. Like that would have been a hella weird weekend. Like you see the squatter that's living like in the granny flat, then you see all this, and then you kind of probably finish your weekend like, what the hell just happened? Like, what really went on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was like a weird weekend. So I think I definitely want to finish off this story by maybe delivering the items back. That'll probably be the best bet. Because like, one, we can sell it, but like, it has like the school name on it, like, and it has the item numbers as well. It's like school. It's like I don't know, like Townville High School - 900128. Like there's like item codes on each item. We're like, okay.
And also because those schools wouldn't be like getting an amazing amount of funding, so for them that equipment could be like quite dear to them in that sense that they were using it. But yeah, I reckon that's a good decent video, like, you know, returning it all. But I also could feel like the school could be a bit iffy about it, or they could just be like, oh yeah, cheers, whatever, we don't really care, and they probably have new replacements already, and it kind of just be like, oh well, that was just energy wasted for nothing, you know what I mean? But
it would be weird if we give it back. Imagine like this, it wasn't that they didn't have a break-in or robbery, but it was actually like the, let's say, woodwork teacher that stole it. So we awkwardly return it to the woodwork teacher and he steals it again.
And oh yeah, that's true. It could be someone on the inside. Oh shit, I didn't think about that. Someone on the inside working around it and doing.
What do we do now? Like,
yeah, you're in a situation now, but definitely keep the Xboxes. Keep the Xboxes.
All the Xboxes, that was like in the horse stable, so all that stuff I think might have not been stolen. It was like in a different location. So those, all the Xboxes, the amplifier, found these cool, the exact light bulbs that my house uses. Each light bulb usually costs $2-3, and there was just like a box with probably like 100 to 150 of these light bulbs. So that I'll have lifetime supply of light bulbs.
Yeah, I was gonna say test them out, see if they work, and then chuck them around everywhere. Yeah, lifetime supply. That's too easy. Look at that, gold mine.
Yeah, we saw camping chairs. We in the same Horse Carriage, we saw some camping chairs I got. We saw this amazing stretcher. It's like a thing where you open it up and it forms like a bed that you can lie on. It's like an army looking bed. I ended up sleeping on that for the night, and that was pretty good. So yeah, it was like an interesting weekend.
Like, it's definitely a weekend where you didn't expect anything to happen, and then suddenly, you slept on an army bed?
Yeah. And Reese was sleeping on the floor. Reese got like 2 couch sort of box things. He put like a blanket on the bottom for his feet, and that was like his base.
Well then, like, I guess make the most of it, right? Like,
yeah, the house was empty. There was like no furniture. My dad was just renovating it.
Because he's renovating it, right? So is this a house that he bought recently or what?
So he bought this in 2017, and the house comes with the farm, and the farm has like a few horse stables, a massive piece of grassland, a garage. Has this sort of old rundown like mini basketball thing where there's like one basketball hoop and like a piece of like concrete land. Has a pool, surprisingly. So like this piece of land, and it's 2 hours away, Newcastle, and it's literally like 5 minutes away from the nearest town. So it has a lot of potential. So I'm excited to take that over in a few years.
I love how you're confidently saying it. Like, yeah, it's eventually going to come to you, and you already know it. You're like, yeah, it could be. It's definitely a decent investment, like sort of opportunity as well. Like, just being 5 minutes from town is not too far at all. But wow, what an interesting weekend! A pleasant, interesting weekend that you didn't expect. I love that for you. And then, do you know what else happened over the weekend? A little bit of a segue here.
We had Paul.
Yeah, we had.
Got your hat.
We had our best friend Jake Paul. Cue the clip. And yeah, I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Dude, when I saw that, I was scared for him. I was like, whoa, shit, Jack. I was like, when I was watching it, he was like, is he going to get beat up or something? Because like, that was like an intense clip, and like, there was so many footage, yeah.
That's exactly what happened. He got beat up. Like, and he deserves 100% deserves it. No one can say, like, firstly, like, he's not dumb. He's a smart retard. Yeah, he's a smart retard. He knows exactly what he's doing, right? Because he goes in front of Floyd Mayweather, one of the best boxers of all, and takes his hat. Violates him so hard in front of everyone. His team is all behind him. His bodyguards are the size of bloody Greek gods, sculpted like, Greek gods and everything. And he takes the hat. Obviously, he got a black eye and everything, but like, some set of balls on that man.
Dude, I don't know, like, if his team is really fast or he planned it all along, but 20 minutes later, I don't know if that time frame was correct, but 20 minutes later, he had an online store with Gotcha Hat merch.
Gotcha Hat merch. You got a tattoo, Gotcha Hat. I don't know if that merch is sold out, but I think he knew exactly what he was going to do. I think he knew that Floyd would have worn a hat or something like that, or I don't know, but he definitely had an exact idea of what he wanted to do, and it's Gotcha Hat merch.
And he was saying Gotcha Hat a lot, as if that was going to be his catchphrase. Like either Jake Paul planned this whole thing out, or his team just moves really, really fast and everything was in the moment. Because I can, if I wanted to open up a store in 20 minutes, and all the clothing, of course, it's like print on demand, meaning it's like not actually made. When people order, they'll print it out and they'll get their Gotcha Hat merch or hat in like a month's time or 2 weeks' time. But yeah, that was, man, like I could tell like Jake Paul was definitely like nervous doing it. Like I could sort of see his face how it was like really pushing his area of comfort, but he knew it was going to be worth it. It was going to be a cool story that he's going to be able to tell when he's older, and he was like, I'm going to do this. Like I can totally like relate with that, but at the same time that's so ballsy. Like,
and then like he got exactly what he wanted. He got the world speaking about his name again. He got Floyd angry. He got a potential fight with Floyd Mayweather on the cards because he got him angry. Like the way he's like, it's not the best way to go about personal branding and PR, but you know what they say, bro, all PR, any bad PR, all PR is good PR, you know what I mean? Like it's like just different breed. He's just a different breed. Like I don't know what to say about him. He's just could never do it.
Dude, like that's another thing. Like I've written this down. It's like the circle, expanding your circle of comfort. Like I think there's this like image of like the world's knowledge. It's like this circle. When you do a PhD and you create like a thesis, you're sort of basically researching something that's like completely brand new that hasn't been done before, and that's how you get your PhD. And the meme is like, this is the circle of the world's knowledge, and when you do a PhD, it's this little bump, this little pimple that you just add to this massive circle. So that's sort of where I got the circle of confidence, where like I have my own circle of confidence, and every day I'm trying to like expand it and sort of do new things and unlock new grounds and do different things to sort of be like, oh, okay, I've been in a similar situation like this, I know what to do. And it's pretty interesting how like some people just like their circle is the same. Like the moment they turn 20, 21, their circle of confidence or comfort stays the same for the rest of their life.
Also like extending that to like circle of like knowledge, say, right? Like some people, you know, those that drop out of school, etc., theirs would be fairly, let's just assume, limited in the sense that everyone would be leaving school with a set circle of comfort, depending on what you study and where you go. Then yeah, you could tie that in with your circle of comfort. But yeah, 100%. Some people are just fine with just flat circle and just keeping it like a flat circle. You know what I mean? Because everyone's different, right? Not many people enjoy or would be willing to or would be happy to. Oh, there's no water left.
Dude, I have like this blue. Let me get my blue water bottle and
for context, he was really trying to drink out of an orange juice bottle with absolutely no water left in.
So I've had this for like 5-6 years or something. It's a blue water bottle. It says TAFE Western Sydney Institute, sharpening futures, TAFE Western Sydney.
Shaping future of Western Sydney. Yeah.
This is like one of those like, merch bottles where you go to those like conventions and they give you a free water bottle. And then Reese was like, I was drinking this and it was like you've had that bottle for like the last 5-6 years.
Everyone's got one of those water bottles at home that, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got a staple, whether it's item or just something that they have in their room, especially that they've had since like at least 10, 12 years. Like it's just a staple. But yeah, I get you. Like it's like, that's your circle of comfort. That's in your circle of comfort, right?
And then
unlimited in your water bottle.
He was like you're doing pretty well. Like, can't you get buy a water bottle, like a $5 to $10 water bottle? And I was just cracking up.
I have to justify. I have to say, no, it's not about that though. It's not about, are you doing well, you can buy another water bottle. Like it's humbleness as well. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's just a water bottle. I don't really need it. Like, what water bottle could you possibly get, even if you were to? Like, I just got this random steel one as well that I use. I had a bit of a stupid moment today at work. Like, we have, in commercial places, they have a water tap, right? And it either comes out freezing cold water or boiling water. And this, okay, so I didn't want it too cold and I didn't want it too hot. So what I do is I put a lot of the freezing in. Usually when I have my other water bottle, I put a lot of the freezing in, a little bit of the boiling, and the rest of the freezing, so it stays at a relatively coolish, warm temperature, because otherwise you don't want it too cold. I did it. I put all the cold in and got really cold, and then I put a little bit of the boiling in, and I forget this bloody steel that retains all the heat, and the entire bottle got really hot, and I burnt my hand. I was like, ow, what the fuck?
What?
It was just a dumb moment, because I was just like, I'm so used to just doing it. Like, it just became like muscle memory. And I hurt myself so bad. I'm like, ow, why is it hurting? And I'm like, oh shit, that's exactly why. But yeah, it's humbleness. It's staying within your circle of confidence. But I mean, I don't know. For me, my circle of confidence is like investing in like Doge or Shiba Coin. That's a new one that I've been seeing everywhere. Shiba Coin. What the fuck is Shiba Coin? No, I don't want to say anything.
I put some money in Shiba Coin.
Yeah. Here I am saying, what the fuck is he? Like, oh yeah, I put money. Why?
Last night, a friend says, hey, Shiba Coin is being listed on Binance. Get it like ASAP. Well, oh shit, okay. Go to Shiba Coin. It's went from like 500 to like 2,000 in like a matter of like the last few hours. I was like, holy shit, it went up so fast. And I was like, I'm gonna put in like $100 and see what happens. So I bought 100 at 2,750, 2,500, and 2,000. So a dollar cost average. So my average buy is around 2,500, and right now it's roughly around 3,600. So it's sort of gone up, I guess. But like, it's crazy if you put in $100 at that price. If it goes to 1 cent, $100 turns into $100,000. If it goes to 1 cent.
Again, I'm low-key kind of wanting to like get into it, just to like, it's just incredibly volatile. Like, I'm reading into it now. So they're just, Shiba Inu coins are cryptocurrency meme tokens and allow users to just hold them. They're essentially just a cryptocurrency NFT. The tokens are listed on Shiba Swap, so it's its own decentralized exchange, essentially.
Have I told you how like crypto is like roulette? Have I gave you that metaphor before?
Yeah. Wait, no, I don't know. Say it again, just in case.
Okay, but before I go into that, you can finish what you were about to say.
No, all I'm saying is it's just no one knows what it is.
It's just a meme coin, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a meme coin that everyone is just, that I think everyone just, well, not everyone. I think the whole premise of it is that people just see it as, an alternative to Doge, if anything, and then they're just intrigued by it. And, the whole thing of the market, in the cryptocurrency market at the moment, is just a lot of, what's the word for it? There's just a lot of anticipation, a lot of uncertainty and anticipation that what drives the price up is the consumer uncertainty. And, just really in consumer, what's the word for it? They're intrigued by it. They're uncertain, they're intrigued, and they feel like they're missing out if they don't get on it. And so as a result, they get on it and everyone's uncertainty, unwillingness, intrigue, jumping onto it drives the price up. And as a result, like I study finance, but I don't know the technical terms of it because my mind's not in the right space at the moment. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like fear buying, fear mongering, and it just drives the price up. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, FOMO. And then it's all of that, like, with everything that's going on with Doge, everyone just sees, like, maybe just heard of it once, whoever releases it. I feel like you could just release whatever you want. And at the same time, if it's like remotely similar to something new that happened, everyone will be like, oh my God, this one's coming up. Oh my God, maybe it's like Doge. And then just jump on it, drive the price up. And then you can just short sell it and then just make an absolute killing. You know what I mean? But like, oh, what is this world? Yeah, you were saying Roulette.
Oh wow, so Shiba Inu's at 3,300. So I'm still up a bit. But yeah, like, dude, there's so many. As I bought Shiba Inu, there's so many of these like shit coins. Like, there's like Shiba Inu Coin. There's obviously the DogeCoin. There's this other coin called this. I'm actually considering buying this, but it's too late now. Akita Coin. It's like another animal. It's like another type of. It's like this Japanese dog, Akita Coin. Like, what the pig finance? And like their thing is like, this is a stable coin where no wallet can hold more than 1% of peak finance, and people can't dump and sell more than 1% of peak finance. I was like, well, okay.
So what's the point of it?
Yeah. I have no idea. It's like a stable meme coin.
Oh my God. This is the world that we live in. This is truly the world that we live in.
And dude, there's this other coin. It's called ASS. ASS. Australian Safe Shepherd. It's like an Australian Shepherd coin.
What do we do? What do we do with our lives?
Crypto is like roulette, where the black and the red, that's like, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum. The thirds, the 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, that's like the ADA, Cardano, Polkadot, I don't know, what's another big one? Just like the top 10 coins.
Yeah.
The 1 to 52 or the 1 to 50, those are just like every other coin. That's like freaking, I don't know, Rarible, OGN, all these other random coins. But the 0 and 00, that's the meme coins. That's the Shiba Inu. That's the freaking Safe Moon. Those are all the meme coins.
You know, like the 0 and the 00s, they have such a small % chance of, you know, essentially hitting, but these are hitting, like, you know, these are taking off. Like, what's going on? Like, how do you, like, everyone's just hopping on the train. Like, I feel like I'm missing out by not hopping on the train. Like, it's getting to that point, you know what I mean? But it's also like, I shouldn't feel that way because I shouldn't be feeling that way.
Now's actually a good time. Now's a good time to get in, Krishn. I think everything's dropped a bit. If you look at all the charts, everything's red. So I think there was like a mini like liquidation just because like the price is going up too. It hasn't even dropped that much, but yeah, like the crypto market is a bit weird at the moment. Hopefully we have a bull run into the end of the year. If we don't, that's fine. I'm more than happy for it to crash and I'll buy more at the bottom. But if it keeps on going uphill, I'm going to have a good year.
I think it'll stay steady for a while and eventually it'll like the Shiba token website said nicknamed the DogeCoin Killer.
Yeah.
Like obviously everyone will just read that and then immediately, like, it's such a smart marketing strategy as well to target like what's known as the, you know, the most up and coming coin and just immediately name it something similar, name it something cute and fluffy and be like, it's going to take it down. Obviously everyone's going to jump on it, but yeah, like it's very interesting. I bet you like Warren Buffett is shaking in his bed right now, bro. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like all these investors that have, you know, spent their time on, you know, fundamental investing and, you know, like the basics of investing and everything about investing. They're all shaking in the beds right now, bro. I don't know what's going on. No one knows what's going on. Elon Musk is out here trying to shape this world into what it is today, but oh, what do we do? It's an odd world, but we'll see what happens. We've talked about crypto a lot, though. Next episode, we can't talk. We'll have a brief update, but we won't talk about crypto as much. It's just I just saw Shiba Coin today. And I just couldn't not talk about it. Like, I'm interested to hear what everyone's thoughts are, or, you know, if you even care. It is what it is, but Yeah, like I want to know if anyone owns Shiba, if anyone owns Doge, like why? Like what were your reasons? You know what I mean? Other than missing the train, you know, like yeah, what do you? I don't know. I'm just at a loss. I'm such a loss.
Dude, I've seen some like people saying Doge to $100.
If it gets to $100,
There's a guy who I know, he bought a bunch of Doge, and right now he's like a millionaire based on Doge's valuation. He's like turned like a few thousand to a few million. He said if Doge goes to $100, he's going to be a multi-billionaire.
how much money would he have put into that, man? Imagine how much money he would have put into it. But the thing is as well, I like he's holding such a long position. Does he have anything to like leverage his position? Because I've seen people that have, gone 5 times deep in leverage on a short position, and they're currently like, $9,000 whatever down the train or whatever. I don't know exactly how this shit all works, but like, it's what do we do? What do we do?
The last topic, the idea of competition, something that like I'm trying to like wrap my head around. Like, well, what is competition? Like, why are we humans when, let's say, we go on our phone, one of our peers recently buys a Rolex, we're like I need to work harder. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to get a better Rolex. Why does that happen? And like, is competition needed to improve? Can you like grow and do well without competition? Is competition toxic? When does it get toxic? And like what is competition, you reckon? Well, what's competition, Krishn?
I'm going to spin it back on. Okay. Well, we'll sort of like try to answer what competition is, right? But I'm going to spin it back onto you. Don't do this the wrong way. If there wasn't any competition in the world, what would you be doing right now? Nothing.
I'd be like just backpacking around the world, maybe.
Exactly, yeah. But with what funds? With what money? How are you going to make the money? You know what I mean? The drive that you have to make the money in the way that you are is because you want to push yourself to be the best you can and to be the best in the space that you're operating in with the people around you. Obviously, if there's no competition, you'd own the market. There'd just be no incentive to work hard. There'd be no... It's hard to explain because it's like, I agree. If there was no competition, I'd just be kicked back, looking in the sun and the stars all day. But then that's what... I think competition is a result of human evolution. Because if there wasn't any competition, there wouldn't be an incentive to work hard. There wouldn't be a monetary incentive either. There wouldn't be... It's just a mental thing as well where you're subconsciously driven towards a goal because of competition. It's a result of human evolution. It's a result of everything around us evolving. And because of competition, we're able to continue evolving as humans and as a species to grow into the next decade, century, etc. It's because of competition we had the Industrial Revolution, the technological age and everything.
I hate people who are like weirdly competitive, like on the
100%.
surface. But then I'm like low-key competitive. Like if I see some older person doing well, I'm happy for their success. But at the back of my mind, I know, they're super old, like that's like, of course they're going to be that successful because they've had so much time. But I'm going to go ahead and work super hard to catch up in the next 5 years. Now, on the surface, I'm really happy for their success. I don't want to take away any of their success, but I strangely want to do better, and it pushes me further. Now, maybe I'm mixing up motivation from competition. Maybe I'm motivated by all the people around me that are successful, and it motivates me to become a better version of myself. But playing devil's advocate, that just seems like a positive way of, hey, I see all these people's success. I'm really competitive. I want to do better so I can be better than that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
am I a hypocrite for hating competitive people when I'm sort of competitive myself? But then I know I'm a nice guy. Like I'm kind, I care, like I want people to succeed. I'm like a nice, down to earth guy.
100%. I feel the same. I never think of myself as a competitive person because I want my friends and those I care about around me to succeed. At the end of the day, I'm not about wanting to outperform my friends. I don't want to outperform you. You don't want to outperform me. We're obviously not in the same space or whatever, but at the same time, we just want what's best for each other. And I think there's a difference in that not pretense, but there's a difference in that interpretation of the word competition when you're looking at it in different settings, scenarios. And yeah, you're right. It's so easy to say, yeah, but I'm motivated by you. I'm motivated by people around me. I'm motivated by those that are in a position that I want to be in because I want to be in that place. But at the same time, when do you think that they are kind of intertwined in the sense that motivation becomes competition and etc.? But like I was saying before, I think competition has just become a fundamental part of, modern day, let's say humans, modern day individuals, because it's such a big thing in no matter everything that we do. And it's so hard to not see someone doing what you're doing and want to be in that position. You know what I mean? I think that inherently everyone has some form of competition inside them. And without it, you wouldn't be able to evolve or continue to evolve or be extinct. You wouldn't be able to continue moving on. The tracks on the train would stop moving. If there wasn't competition from other, countries around the world, Australia wouldn't be where we are today because we look over our shoulders at our neighbors and we see how far they're going along. We want to push and, be better than it. It's just, it's a deep-rooted fundamental thing, which I think is a little bit further from us simply saying, oh yeah, but I don't think I'm competitive. What is competition? Because it's deep-rooted now.
Yeah, I think I'm after voicing it out, I think I'm probably definitely overthinking it because you're right. If someone else, let's say there's this person, they're working at, let's say Microsoft, they're doing super well, they've got a bunch of scholarships, they're climbing the ranks really fast, they're also taking their mum out and looking after their mum because I'm looking after my mum, and then they think they're doing just as good or better than me, and that triggers me to be like, I'm going to grind hard to make sure the gap between us is so far where you're like, holy shit, that's a long gap. But then my day to day, I'm working, I knocked out a pretty productive day. I'm not even thinking of that person. I'm just working for myself. But maybe those minds happen, those thoughts happen in the moment, and it's like a small catalyst. But just like a fire starter or just like you turning the ignition on your car, that just gets things going, but it's the engine, it's you that really gets the car from A to B.
Well said. Well said. It's a catalyst. It's a catalyst for evolution. It's a catalyst for everything. Because without it, yeah, you're right. In that moment, it's so easy to become engulfed by it and consumed by it, and you'll make decisions out of emotion, and you take a step back, and you're right. You become involved with something. You become a little bit busy, and sooner or later you forget it, and all that hard work and energy that you put into being emotionally annoyed at something, you put into your work, and it's driven you harder, it's driven you more. Everything is just intertwined. It's all the same. But yeah, interesting little insight, because I've never thought of myself as a competitive person. But then, yeah, you're right. I see other people that are getting these jobs in these positions, and I'm like, why am I not like that? Why can't I do that? Obviously, they work hard and everything, but if I want to get to where I want to do and be, I just have to work 20 times harder, and I understand that, and I do that because I know there's no shortcuts to anything. The people that consumed by competition and get pissed about it aren't willing to put in the hard work into it, and that's as simple as that.
I think I've got a good metaphor. There are people who are consumed by competitiveness, and imagine they're the type of people that is driving their car on the ignition battery. They're powering the whole car off this freaking igniter. This the ignition fuse, the ignition battery, and they're expecting to push the whole car just with that anger. And you can sort of see those people, yeah.
And where does it get you? At the end of the day, where does it get you? You know what I mean? You become so consumed by it And there's just no point because, yeah, you're right. You can see those people. You can see those people that, you know, trying to have a talk with them and immediately either look down on you, talk down on you, treat you with absolute disdain and disrespect. And it's just like I get it. But at the same time, it's just like...
You're going to run out of, like, you're not moving. And it makes sense because, like, it's like Vegeta and Goku, how Vegeta was not able to go into Super Saiyan until he gave up on trying to surpass Goku. And that's when he went Super Saiyan.
Exactly. And it's always going to be like a chip on your shoulder. It's going to be holding you back until you can get over the competition within yourself. But yeah, competition is always going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, we're in peak competition phase. Oh, it's hard to say peak because, you know, throughout the years, it's always been there. It's always been pertinent. But yeah, like, I think those are my thoughts on it. As to what competition is, I think it's an emotion.
And then one more thing I want to add is, like, that's how mind games come in. Like, that's how Mayweather might be consumed by competition, where now he's no longer progressing and he's just, like, focused on beating up Logan and Jake Paul. And Logan and Jake, they're chilling and they're just, like, you know, training and betting themselves. Like, that's how mind games work. That's how, like, you can... That's what happens when someone's consumed from, like, revenge and competition, I guess.
Yeah, and then they're in your head, and then it's so easy to manipulate and toy with them because they're in it. Yeah, it's just they're consumed by it. I've seen it happen to people. I've seen it happen to people, and like I've seen it happen to multiple people. It's just like, okay, like, you just take a step back, and as long as you're aware of it and don't let yourself be consumed by it, it's all sweet. But I'm gonna have to put the wrap on that one. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Solid episode. I really enjoyed doing these, and yeah, that's like another topic off the list. Thanks so much for doing this.
We can go into more depth and detail into that one later as well. Like, it's something that we can just bring up, and
for sure,
we can go into more detail.
So yeah, that was the recap. Great story. I'll update you guys on what happens with all the equipment, all the stolen equipment in quotation marks. We'll see what we'll do with that next week. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We are seeing the YouTube views go up, so thank you for all the support if you're listening and watching this on YouTube as well as on podcast. The views are steady. Thank you so much for those core listeners. I just want to say thank you to you guys. And yeah, Krishn, you could wrap it up.
Echoing and seconding what Andy said, thank you so much. You hear us waffle, you hear us talk, but we still appreciate anyone that listens and appreciate it. Episode 35. If you want to come on, we'll see what we can do. We can organize something, but appreciate it, guys. Take care. Peace.